Welcome back to Venture Onward. Today I plan to discuss Disney, Spider-Man, Static, and the other upcoming DC comic books for Dawn of DC Comics. So, let's get started, as I have a lot to cover. Disney CEO Bob Iger has verified that a new Avengers enrollment is arriving at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iger noted this shift to Earth's mightiest heroes while emitting at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference, starting by stating that there's nothing terrible about the Marvel brand, but Disney just has to look at what characters and stories it's mining for future undertakings. If you look at the trajectory of Marvel in the next 5 years, there will be a lot of newness, he persisted. We're going to turn back to the Avengers franchise with a whole new set of Avengers, for example. Iger did not document any characters who would be on the latest registration. The MCU already has an account of presenting significant differences. Marvel Studios executive Stephen Broussard once spoke about the issue, remarking that he considered one of the meta-narratives of Phase 4 to be concentrated on more recent characters and giving on mantles. If you look at it, like Cassie Lang in Quantumania getting a suit and Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, new characters being introduced like Jack in Werewolf by Night, said Broussard. After these first 10 years of Marvel storytelling, torches are being passed, like with Robert Downey Jr. no longer being on the table and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a new generation stepping to the forefront which, again, has always happened in the comics. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty writer Jeff Loveness indicated some characters who could occur in the movie, noting Yelena Belova, Kang the Conqueror, and Shuri, respectively portrayed by performers Florence Pugh, Jonathan Majors, and Letitia Wright, though he didn't go into the component. Loveness also said that Daredevil and Moon Knight might be in the movie and examined why forthcoming MCU heroes Blade and the Fantastic Four may not. About the one-time characters, there is no official comment from Marvel Studios about either of them, including any part in the Kang Dynasty. As for additional characters who could emerge in the Kang Dynasty, a previous statement argues that Doctor Strange will be one of the film's villains. Nevertheless, as with Daredevil and Moon Knight's odds of popping up in the film, no official announcement has been made. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty comes to theaters on May 2, 2025. Buffs were regaled to a brief but stunning glimpse at the reality of Spider-Man India from the forthcoming Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, Mumbattan, whose character is an amalgam of Manhattan and Mumbai. Featured on a cover for Empire, the print catches Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy on a tower as they look at Mumbattan, which is vibrant. Also attending is a third wall crawler, which hinges onto the structure. Before this, fans saw Pavitar Prabhakar, aka Spider-Man India, in some layout art. A following statement reported that Deadpool and Deadpool 2 star Karan Soni had been cast as the vocalist of Spider-Man India. Aside from Spider-Man India, it was verified by co-writer Christopher Miller that Across the Spider-Verse's poster contained a variant of the spectacular Spider-Man's Spy Day. However, ex-showrunner Greg Weisman would say that Miller's guarantee about said sign is not the same as confirmation that that version of Spider-Man is in the movie. More lately, Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man performer Tom Holland was said to pop up in Across the Spider-Verse. However, this has yet to get an official verification from either Sony or Marvel Studios. But while Across the Spider-Verse presents new web-slingers, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse star Nicolas Cage endorsed before this year that he wasn't invited to continue his position as Spider-Man Noir for the previous film, stating he didn't learn what the odds were of the character emerging in it. I wish they would bring the character back, he persisted. I love Spider-Man Noir, too. I think that's a great character. Spider-Man's the coolest superhero. And then you combine that with Cagney and Bogart and Edward G. Robinson, come on, it's a great character. On the issue of Across the Spider-Verse itself, senior character animator Air Santos talks about its plot might be a mature one in 2022, remembering how challenging it was to function in the movie. But what kind of kept us going was we'd be frustrated, or something would change, or a sequence was cut, and then we'd see a new render, and we'd be like, okay, alright? Let's go, counted Santos. And also, some of the choices characters were making in the story were like, what? Okay, alright. This is a kids movie? I guess it's not a kids movie. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. So it's very, super exciting to me. Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse opens in theaters on June 2nd. Shifting gears to the world of DC Comic other news, the animated character Anansi is a character who debuted in the animated Static Shock series and is pushing its official comics debut in a brand new DC one-shot. Static Team Up, Anansi #1 is a new one-shot by writer Evan Narcisse, DC Power, A Celebration, Batman, Gotham Knights, Gilded City, and artist Charles Stewart III. The one-shot between the circumstances of Static, Season 1 and Virgil Hawkins' new series, Static, Shadows of Dakota. The fan-favorite African superhero pays a visit to Dakota to investigate a supernatural disturbance, the publisher stated. Anansi soon finds out that he's going to need Static's help in exploring the occult side of the Milestone universe. Granted by the Golden Spider of Kwaku Anansi, an artifact handed down in his family for multiple generations, Anansi is charged with guarding the jewels of the Ashanti. Voiced by Carl Lumbly, Anansi appeared in 2 episodes, Static in Africa and Out of Africa, of Static Shock, which circulated from 2002-04. In the animated series, Anansi teamed up with Virgil to overpower a cat-like enemy named Ospo. DC also revealed that Static, Shadows of Dakota would get a 7th extra issue after the label was initially reported as a 6-issue miniseries. Initially informed at 2022's San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC, Static, Shadows of Dakota was established in February 2023 and had so far observed the thought hero as he encounters both new and familiar dangers, one of these dangers being the criminal Eben. This fan-favorite enemy is also widely known as the Static Shock animated series. With the series' 2nd issue having released on March 7, 2023, from DC, the story continues in Static, Shadows of Dakota #3, which releases April 4, 2023, from Nicholas Draper Ivy and Vita Ayala. The solicitation synopsis for the issue reads, while Virgil and his dad investigate the recent disappearances of Bang Babies, we learn more about the mysterious leader of the Vigilantes. Can Static get to the bottom of these sinister abductions before more kids get captured? Meanwhile, Eben goes to Paris Island to follow a lead on his missing brother's whereabouts, but the Blood Syndicate don't take kindly to strangers coming on their turf. Static Team Up, Anansi #1 features central cover art by Draper Ivy and variant covers by Natasha Bustos and Edwin Gallman. The one-shot was released on June 6, 2023. Static, Shadows of Dakota #7 releases September 5, 2023, from DC. Elsewhere, the dawn of DC is here, and the future resumes to get brighter, but threats constantly lurk just about the corner. DC is marking the momentous event with oversized special issues that will usher verbatim into new creative groups on both continuing series, Simon Spurrier and Mike Deodato Jr. on The Flash and Eisner-winning scribe Tom King and artist Daniel Sampier on Wonder Woman. This May, DC will cast a free special, The Dawn of DC Primer, which promises to reveal secrets and more from the year-long storytelling ambition. In June, The Flash and Wonder Woman will enter a comics club reaching 800 single issues. DC has also enrolled famed actor Michael Dorn, the vocalist of Steel on Superman, the animated series, to document the favorably expected Steel works with art by Sami Basri. And Jadzia Axelrod, who assembled a splash with Galaxy, the prettiest star, resolved be causing her DC mainline debut with Hawkgirl, calling attention to artwork by Amankei Nawelpan. For years, Amanda Waller has seen the heroes of the DC universe as a dangerous threat that could drive them to the planet's end. Ever since Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, Amanda Waller has worked in the shadows to organize lethal weapons and to build a brigade of supporters who sympathize with her. Now she's propelled to get some of the most destructive opponents of the DC universe a proposal they can't deny. The Dawn of DC Primer, written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by Leandro Fernandez, tells Dawn of DC's enigmas, perils, and connective narratives in 2023 and further. This complimentary special issue will be open at comic shops on May 16. Diana Prince and Wally West are obtaining new The Flash and Wonder Woman reboots, while Hawkgirl is also bringing her talents in a new solo series for the year-long Dawn of DC event. On June 6, 2023, The Flash will get its milestone 800th issue. To mark, DC is setting out a big special that arrives from several developers who enclose once performed on the label, including writers Mark Waid, Jeff Johns, Joshua Williamson, and Jeremy Adams, and artists Fernando Pasarin, Auclair Albert, Todd Knock, Carmine Di Giandomenico, Scott Collins, and Mike Deodato, Jr. The Flash is running toward its landmark 800th issue on June 6th, and DC is getting concurrently some of the most oversized names ever to compose the speedster. Legendary Flash scribes Mark Waid, who is currently writing Batman/Superman, World's Finest, Jeff Johns scribes with Justice Society of America, and Joshua Williamson, who scribes Superman. They join Jeremy Adams, the current writer on The Flash. Each donates a narrative in this oversize issue, with art by recent series artist Fernando Pasarin with Auclair Albert bringing their talents to Hawkman, Todd Knock, who drew Stargirl, The Lost Children, Carmine Di Giandomenico, who handles art duties of Batman, The Knight, come back to The Flash artist Scott Collins who worked on Suicide Squad, King Shark, and Mike Deodato Jr. who tackle Avengers. The Flash joins Dawn of DC in September. Casting with The Flash #1, the award-winning new imaginative team of Simon Spurrier-Coda, Detective Comics, and Mike Deodato Jr. will chronicle the experiences of the fastest man alive. Teasing of the new series, Wally West has never been quicker, more fulfilled, more heroic. His loving family is around him. And yet something is off. Very off. His evolving understanding of his powers has opened Wally to new avenues of sci-fi adventure, and attuned his senses to strange new ideas. Something whispers from the dark vibrations beyond the Speed Force, and as Wally experiments with creative new approaches to his powers he encounters new realms, mysterious allies, and mind-shattering terrors. Starting with a prelude in the soon-to-be legendary The Flash #800, the chronicles of the fastest man alive take an action-packed turn towards cosmic horror. Like Flash #800, Wonder Woman #800 will have a curtain raiser to a new, Dawn of DC, reboot. Wonder Woman #1 takeoffs in September 2023 from King and Sampier. After a mysterious Amazonian is accused of mass murder, the U.S. Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act, barring all Amazons from American soil, the new series narrative reads. To carry out its new law, the government sets up the Amazon Extradition Entity, AX, task force to remove those who don't comply by any means necessary. In her search for the truth behind the killing, Wonder Woman now finds herself an outlaw in the world she once swore to protect. The action-packed Wonder Woman #1 will be available at local comic shops in July, and Wonder Woman #800 features a prelude to the story. A brand new adventure with sky-high action, experience, and conspiracy begins for the one-time Lady Blackhawk, Kendra Saunders, aka Hawkgirl, where she receives her Dawn of DC moment in a solo series from writers Jadzia Axelrod and Amankay Nawelpan. Releasing July 18, 2023, DC's narrative reads, Kendra Saunders, the winged warrior better known as Hawkgirl, has been one of the DC Universe's greatest heroes for a long time, serving as a member of both the Justice League and the Justice Society. But with the Justice League disbanded, Kendra decides she needs a fresh start and heads to Metropolis to begin a new life. That life is quickly interrupted by a mysterious villain with a powerful connection to the nth metal that makes up Hawkgirl's wings and weapons. Hawkgirl will also feature a series of variant covers that recount Kendra's DC history. Cover art arrives from Torrin Clark for The Flash #800, Deodato Jr. tackles The Flash #1 promotional art, Yannick Paquette handles Wonder Woman #800, Sampier will care for Wonder Woman #1 and Amankay Nawelpan, and Adriano Lucas will bring talents to Hawkgirl #1. Lastly, Star Trek and Superman, the animated series. Michael Dorn is penning a new DC series starring John Henry Irons, Steelworks. Steelworks is venturing in June 2023 from Dorn, who portrayed the character of Worf on several Star Trek labels and voiced his talents of John Henry Irons, aka Steel, in Superman, the animated series, and artist Sami Basri. Following the current affairs of Action Comics, the new comic will pursue John and his niece, Natasha Irons, as they successfully try to handle their engineering company despite many oncoming perils. DC teased the new comic. The Metropolis of the future is here today, but can it survive a terrorist who's out for revenge against its builder, John Henry Irons A.K. Steel and his company, Steelworks, and who possesses secrets that could undo everything John has worked so hard to build. While John's professional life is firing on all cylinders, his personal life is even better, as his on-again, off-again relationship with Lana Lang might be back on, permanently. Now he must decide whether it's time to give up being Steel once and for all. But does John even know who he would be without his superhero identity? How does the other Steel, John's niece, Natasha Irons, feel about his momentous decision? And does any of that matter if Steelworks crumbles around him when he lacks the superpowers to fight back? On May 16, 2023, the publisher will release a special The Dawn of DC Primer issue for complimentary comic book books. Written by Joshua Williamson and featuring art by Leandro, The Dawn of DC Primer will form the setting for the year-long occasion by announcing new wrenches, mysteries, and more. For years. Steelworks #1 will handle cover art by Clayman. The series officially launches in June 2023 from DC. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Until next time, venture onward.